guys, it's Jalen here. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than things that I've ever done on my channel because this is something that I've actually wanted to talk about for a while, and I think that YouTube is like the perfect platform to talk about stuff like this because there are probably other people out there who are people of color doing musical theater that have had similar experiences to me, and I've always wanted to just share what it's like being a young black man doing musical theater. If this is your first time on my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. We do a lot of fun things here. So we have a party most of the time, okay? We have some good times. My videos consist of some singing, you know, some cooking occasionally. I'll give you some advice, some fashion hauls. There's gonna be some good times here. But if this is your first time, and you really want to stay and hang out for the party, then I suggest you subscribe because I would love to have you. So how about we jump right into this, okay? I'll give you guys a little bit of a backstory about who I am. So I've been doing musical theaters probably for most of my life. I think my first musical ever was when I was in 7th grade, or it might have been 8th grade, like my first real musical, and we did Carousel. Oh, I played Mr. Snow. Was that a good choice to have a bunch of 11-year-olds doing? Probably not. There are millions of other musicals that we could have done, but that's beside the point. So I've been doing musical theater for pretty much my entire life, and I've had so many different experiences and so many moments that I have just noticed, I wonder if this is happening to me, 1, because I'm a boy, 2, because I'm a black boy, or 3, maybe it's just the way, I don't know, maybe this is just how people were treated and things that people said. Because, you know, personally, I went through so many experiences and I didn't really know like what was right to say, what I should have taken, what I shouldn't have taken, and just a lot of different things that have happened in my life. But my main point of this video is to not only give you guys a little bit of my experience in some of the shows that I've done, but also like really push how important diversity is in musical theater and how like really we're not just being dramatic when we talk about how shows like In the Heights were life-changing. Peep the In the Heights shirt. Or shows like Hamilton, like we're not just being dramatic and not just blowing those shows up for no reason, because, you know, some of you guys can say it's overhyped or whatever, but that stuff is so important to see, like it genuinely is. So flash forward to some other musicals that I've done. As I got older, I started doing more and more, and I started doing like musical theater camps and musical theater classes. And I remember I was in a children's production, and I remember we were auditioning, and I really wanted to be, I don't even remember what show it was, but I wanted to be in the show, of course, because, you know, I was really excited. I don't know, I was getting really serious about musical theater and realizing that it was really something that I wanted to do. So my parents were like, oh yeah, cool, go take some classes, do this. Like they were always super supportive and always pushing me to do a bunch of like different shows and stuff. So I remember I was doing a musical theater class, and they had, the point of the class was to have everyone line up and we were all gonna sing, and then they were gonna cast us from the songs that we sang. And I remember all of the other boys sang, all the other girls sang, and mind you, I was the only black kid in this class, as was a lot of the time when I was doing theater. So I remember I sang, and the lady was like,
oh, you would be such a good Seaweed in Hairspray, or you would be so good in The Wiz.
And I was like, oh, thank you. And I sat back for a while and I took in the compliment, and then I was just thinking, and mind you, I'm like 12 or 13 at this point, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh, okay, Seaweed in Hairspray, you know, he's black and I'm black, or The Wiz, you know, that's a primarily black show. And then it just got me thinking, because she was telling all the other kids, oh, you would be so good in this and being so good in that, and she had only limited me to roles that were written for black men, which really at such a young age put me in a box, because there weren't very many roles written. Like there still really aren't that many roles that are written. And I don't know why, I don't even know if that was necessarily a positive thing or a negative thing, but it's something that sat with me for a while. And then as I was going to more auditions, I just started noticing how people would interact with me and comments that music directors would say, or costumers. So I was 12 at that point. Let's fast forward a little bit more. So I started doing more and more and more musicals, and I remember I was at an audition once. I think I was around 16 or 17 at this point, and I remember sitting there. I had gotten called back for one of the roles that I was really excited for, and this boy that I had seen often at auditions had sat next to me, and he was like,
oh, yeah, you're probably gonna get the part. You're probably gonna get the part.
I was like, oh, well, you know, don't say that. You're equally as talented. There's an equal opportunity. And they were like,
no, well, this theater company is really looking, like, they probably want to change things, and they want to do things a little bit different, so you'll probably get the part.
Mind you, this boy was not black, he was white, and I was thinking, oh, okay. So I went into my callback already thinking in my head, are they gonna cast me because I'm black and they want to make a point? Or are they gonna cast me because I was good enough for the part? I got the part, and I didn't even fully get to enjoy that experience as much as I would have liked to, because I was thinking in my head, oh, did they only cast me because I was black and they were trying to make a point? And that was just one of the many like microaggressions and little many things that people have told me. And then flash forward to other auditions as I'm getting older. Again, I'm starting to piece all these things together. And I had someone tell me,
oh yeah, well, you know, you're black, but you're not really black, so that's an advantage.
and that had me thinking, okay, so I'm too black to play some roles that were like primarily written for white people, but I'm also not black enough, and it just left me like so confused. So fast forward again to when I did Grease, and I remember I was really excited. I was playing Duty, and I had someone tell me or ask me once,
so what do you do about your hair?
and I was like, huh? What do you mean, what am I gonna do about my hair? Like, my hair is the way that it is, it's the texture that it is, it's literally how I was born. What do you mean? And they're like,
Well, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna like straighten it? Are you gonna do this?
and I remember thinking like, well, black people did exist in the, you know, in the 50s or whenever Grease happened. Pretty sure Grease is, people can suspend their belief for like 2 hours to sit through a production of Grease. No one's gonna be like, oh, why does that black kid not have slick back white hair? But also, like, I'm not white, so why would you even ask me that? So just little things like that that have just made my experience with musical theater so interesting. I'm not even trying to say that it was all a negative, because I've had so many fantastic experiences in musical theater, and I've had so many experiences that have been just absolutely incredible, and I've met so many people, and I've got to play some really great roles that I've just thought I would never get to play, and it was so exciting. But there were always little things when I was like dealing with costumers and dealing with wardrobe people and hair people, how they always treated, not all of them, but some would treat my hair as like an issue that they had to conquer, or they would just throw a wig on me and not want to even deal with, you know, my natural hair. And it was just so fascinating to me. So like 3 years ago, or it might have been 4 years ago now, I was in a production of In the Heights, and it was life-changing, because up to that point I had never been in a show with primarily people of color. And every time I was at rehearsal, I would just like, I would be floored by all of the people that I was surrounded that looked like me, and how shocking it was, because I had genuinely never seen that before in all of my shows. I was always the one or the two, one of the black kids in the cast, and even if no one made me feel alienated, it was always something that I did always feel kind of different for, because there just weren't a lot of people that looked like me doing theater. So it was always just so interesting to me, and it makes me want to stress really how important it is to continue to make musical theater diverse, because it wasn't until I had done In the Heights that I had seen that it was possible for people that looked like me to be in shows and be performing and doing these things. And it was also, there were so many stories from other people that looked like me that were so important to tell. And it was just incredible to do a show like that and really see how people were changed and how I was changed performing, and it was just incredible. So I don't want this video to be primarily negative and me talking about all of the bad things. It's just things that I've noticed doing musical theater as a, you know, young black guy, and I'm sure that there will be other things that I'll experience, but I'm just hoping that as time goes on, I will be able to really see a difference in musical theater, and hopefully see more people that look like me. And I'm hoping that people who don't have similar experiences as me or might not look like me will be more open to, you know, learning about what is okay to say and what's not okay to say, and not treating who I am and how I was born as an issue when it comes to putting on a show. Because in the end, musical theater is a place where you should be able to see tons of people, so many different types of people on stage, no, regardless of what they look like, and it shouldn't even matter really. Like, it shouldn't even cross your mind. I sit through so many musicals, and I sat through a production of Into the Woods once where, you know, the baker was Asian, like the baker's wife was black, Little Red was Asian, and it's just, and that right there was just going to show you how in a lot of shows that we've seen in a lot of musical theater, those roles were not really open for people of color. And now that people of color are getting the opportunity to play them, I think it's opening people's eyes to show that it really doesn't matter. And I think it's important for more people in theater to keep that in mind, that there are tons of people of color who would be phenomenal for roles, and I shouldn't be made to feel like I was cast just because I was black. So whatever, I think at this point I'm rambling, but those are just little snippets and little things that I want to tell you about as my experience doing musical theater. I hope this has brought some light to some things, you know, that I've experienced, and I hope that if you're watching this and you're maybe someone who is working in theater who is like, oh, this is interesting, like I've never seen it from that perspective, I hope this opens your eyes a little bit. And I'm really excited for the future of musical theater. I'm excited for people like Lin-Manuel Miranda and, you know, people that are just going out there and like really changing the way that theater was traditionally seen. And I'm so excited for that. And I'm hoping that I start to see more people that look like me on stage, because it's so important, and it's just such an incredible feeling to see. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a fantastic time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.